No one else here in this room, in this world, has the same fingerprints as you guys do. So the fingerprints you see stay on your thumb. You're the only one with that special pattern on there. How many people are in the world that you guys, say a number. How many people are in the world?
Billions.
Billion? Billions?
Quadrillion.
Quadrillion? I like quadrillion. We'll use quadrillion. And we work all different shifts, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. We usually work 10 hours a day. But sometimes when there's a big crime scene, it takes us a little longer. Me and Alex have been at a crime scene, I think 21 hours. So it's a long, long day for us. We don't just clock in and clock out. You know, we got to make sure the job is done. So sometimes we got to stay a little bit longer and take care of the job. Right? Okay.
Yes.
Well, the most common thing that we use is a camera. Our job is to make it look like how we see it through our eyes when we get there. So sometimes when we get to a place, there's not a whole lot of light. And sometimes that's very important because the work that we do, where does it end up? You know our police station's across the street, right? Does it end up there? The answer is no. It ends up across the street at the court building. So what we're doing is we're gathering all this information and evidence and seeing what it says so that we can present it to a jury.
300.
We took, I believe, 1,400 photos that day in that crime scene. So it's not just a matter of taking a quick photo here and a quick photo here. We got to document that crime scene all the way around. So we do a 360-degree turn. So we'll start here, photo, 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 go all the way around, then take closer photos, even closer photos, and then you guys have seen those number placards, like on crime scene shows. You know what I'm talking about? The yellow ones. Yep. So after we're done taking photos, we put those placards down to locate our evidence, and we start the photos back again.
One of the bad guy was shooting at one of our police officers, and we needed to show that he was, not only that he was shooting, but where he was shooting from, because it's very important. So there's some tools that we use over here, and we're going to show them to you, and one of them is a laser. And so if we put, for better lack of a word, it's a metal stick, it's a metal rod, and we put it into the hole that's made by the bullet. And into that, on the end of that stick, we put a laser. And it makes a perfectly straight line, just like the bullet did. And it went right to the doorway where we knew that he lived. So it showed exactly where he was standing when he shot. Well, that tells us information, but somehow I have to show a jury or a detective how do I show that? I have to show that in a photograph, but that was over 200 feet. That's a long way. So we had to take a special photograph we'll show you what it is. We use some fog and a laser, and we actually used a fluorescent colored string that went 200 feet from the hole in the door all the way to the house. And we had to take, I don't know, we probably took at least 100 photos of that just to make that work. Just to show one little part of that crime scene.
So let's pretend someone shot a bullet and it hit right there, okay? I'm just gonna sit down and pretend that it's there. So I'm gonna put this right there. Let's pretend it hit right there, okay? So, put our laser. Can I get the lights, miss?
Thank you, Amanda.
Okay, let's see. Okay, you guys see my laser, right? So now I'm gonna point it over there. Now, I'm sure you can see it pretty good. This fog here is what helps bring out the laser a little bit more. So say, let's see, Alex. See here? Okay, you can see it a little better.
Oh my God!
And don't worry, the fog's not gonna, it's not anything dangerous for you guys.
It's not toxic.
Not toxic.
Wow.
A little bit more. So now we can say, hey, the person who shot at this table was standing over there. So the chemicals in here will react to blood, and it'll turn it like a bright blue, almost like it's glowing. So I can use it. Yeah. Even though someone tried cleaning it off, sometimes they'll use like soap or bleach or something, and they're cleaning off where they hurt someone. They can clean up, but they're not going to clean up everything. I'm gonna bring my little Blue Star bottle and just everything. And if that person not be blooded, which we surely did, you say the bathroom, it's gonna light up, it's gonna glow. And now I know this is where the crime scene happened. This is where this person got hurt. And then we have special filters on our cameras that'll help take those photos. That way, like I said, when we go to the courthouse, to the judge and stuff, we can show them what the bad guy did. And we also have what's called track stones. Say a bad guy leaves us a shoe print in dirt. It's like a special type of putty that we lay into the dirt, let it dry. It's almost like Play-Doh in a way. So once it dries, you pick it up, and the other side is a duplicate of that shoe print. Put on these special glasses because they help with the UV light that's in here. And then I'm looking, I'm searching everywhere for that special evidence. And if there's special evidence that I'm looking for, right here, it's gonna glow. It's gonna glow and it's gonna tell me, hey, Noel, right there, that's where it's at. But I do also need these glasses, okay? So this type of light helps us look for that. You know, we use it, the room has to be dark, almost as dark as this, maybe a little bit darker. And sometimes the evidence will be up there, sometimes the evidence will be down here.
Will it be in the toilet?
Yes, you can. It can. Leave it at that. Yes, that type of evidence can be anywhere. But this is
Specialists. So, for people who want to get into forensics, minimum right now is a 4-year degree, and it's not a requirement, but that just gets your foot in the door. And then the last 2 people we've hired have had master's degrees.
Masters in what?
In science?
Oh, they're usually a hard science major, so it's usually a biology, but like a forensic minor or something like that.
Wow.
So on those shows, you'll see the guy, he'll see a fingerprint somewhere, and he'll take a picture with his camera, and then, you know, in 5 minutes, he's got the guy's photo on his camera, his address, and all that stuff. I've been doing this job for 30 years, and I have never seen that happen. That's television. So let me just, because it doesn't take just 30 seconds on your phone. It takes a really long time. So we take that print, and it goes to a fingerprint expert. The fingerprint expert looks at it and goes, okay, this is a good fingerprint, and we know it belongs to the bad guy, so we're going to go ahead, and he'll look at the print, and then he'll scan it using a scanner, and then he'll put it up on a computer screen, and he'll blow it way up. Now inside your fingerprint, if you look at your fingerprint, there's all these little lines, right? Some of them will go up to a point and just stop. Some of them go up and they split. Some of them go around and make all these shapes. So the fingerprint expert has to look at each of those little identifying points and mark them with the computer, as many as he or she can see. And then he sends it off in the computer, and then the computer comes back and tells him, okay, here are up to 100 matches, and they usually put them in order of the highest probability at the top. And then that person has to go back in, a human being, not a computer, has to go look at it and go through the process and see if that fingerprint matches. So let's say he finds a match. So he's confident, 100% confident, that these 2 fingerprints match. So he takes all that work and says, oh, you know, comes up to his own personal conclusion, seals up all his work, and then gives it to another fingerprint expert. And that fingerprint expert, they can't talk about the results. That other fingerprint expert has to look at those prints and come up with the same conclusion.
Oh, so it's kind of like peer reviewed.
Yes. And then that person seals everything up, if they agree, and then gives it to another person, so it's 3 people. And then that person has to come up with the same conclusion. So there's 3 people that have to come up with the same conclusion. Yeah. All right. So it goes to show you that television and real life are 2 completely different things. And a lot.
What if the bad guy doesn't leave any prints? You guys do that?
Then we look for what's called DNA. Sometimes they leave DNA. Maybe they'll cut themselves at a crime scene and leave blood. Sometimes, like me and Alex just walking over here, we're sweating because it's so hot. They could leave sweat. We can collect that. You're always shedding skin cells or something. You cannot physically go into a room and leave that room without leaving something of you there. Whether it's a strand of hair that just fell out, whether it's skin cells that fall off on their own and you just can't see, you're gonna leave me something.
So somebody with the distance from a shoe, right? Can you tell that? There's a pattern right here. So if you look at the bottom of your shoe, there's probably a pattern. And see, if you look at the bottom of my shoe, there's a pattern also, right? So we're gonna, even if it doesn't get all of it, there's some of it. So something's better than nothing.
We don't need an entire fingerprint
That's
to
very
find the
good.
bad guy. Maybe, you know, a fourth of your finger, even less, because there's so much detail in there, and because your fingerprint is so unique, you don't need that much to find who did it.
And then if we find blood, we only need just like the top of the head of a pin. That's it. Just a little bit of DNA goes a very long way.
So we're going to show you guys how to process fingerprints later with our special powders. You guys will lift the fingerprints off the item, and you'll put them on a fingerprint card, and you can take them with you. So what you guys will do is you pick an object. You have a couple of different things. You'll put the powder on, then you put the tape on. You'll lift it, and then there'll be a bunch of different fingerprint cards for you guys to work with. And if you need help taking the tape off, take it off. Maybe we can get some scissors, Anne-Marie.
Sure, definitely.
We get going. So we got, you have a loop on one of your fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll pass this around. But what you see here, the fingerprint pattern here, that's all I need to send Miss Anne-Marie to jail. That's all I need. This little piece right here, tell me she's the bad guy. Okay? So you guys pass this around.
Sometimes they'll put it right over that one here and not a good thing. Nice and flat, so, yeah.
Lightly put it on the tips.
Like
Right
that.
here, yeah.
And we all the fingerprints stick.
Okay.
Go ahead and
keep
lift it up.
on doing it. Keep.
And then you can put your print right on there, and then I'll cut it over.
Okay, stop.
Let me see what you got. Got it?
Okay.
Put it on there.
Tape.